Howdy everyone, Matt here. I got a question for you. Do you think those PTs who work in academia, the PTAs, do you think they are for us? Do you think they're good and help the profession of physical therapy? Or no, they don't. They just give all this bad information. Let's talk about that. But first and foremost, let me introduce myself. My name is Matt. I'm Matt the PT, and I'm coming at you with another video on another topic of something in the physical therapy world. Second of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to tune into the video. Thank you for the likes, the comments, and the subscriptions. And if you enjoy the video, hit the like button. And if you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a copay. I think that's a pretty good deal there. So academia, talking about that, because I see so much negative things said about academia, especially PTA. And I'm just going to focus on physical therapy and physical therapist assistant schooling, because people say the most negative things about the programs and the professors, things like that. Things like, oh, it's very self-centered. They're only focused on themselves. They just want to do things that just going to help them keep this job because they can't cut it in the real world. They can't be a therapist out there, so they have to stick here in academia. Or the other thing, they don't teach you everything that you need to know. They don't teach you the right things that you need to know when you're out here in the real world practicing and doing those things. They don't teach you. They just want you to be an employee. They don't teach you the business aspect of things. And of course, they're delusional. Those people who work, those teachers, those professionals, they're delusional. They just tell you this profession where it's all happy rainbows and unicorns and it's just all so wonderful. But you get out here and it's so much different and it's so bad and they just lie to you. That's what I hear. That's just some of the things. And of course, share if the things that you ever hear about that. But I want to share my opinions, beliefs about academia. And of course, I would like to hear yours. And I've had the opportunity to meet many people who work in academia, who are professors, TAs. I got to be a TA over the summer. I thought that was great. It was an early step I said eventually I would like to teach one day. That is my long-term plan one day. But I got to do that. I've had the opportunity to be a clinical instructor for students, so it was kind of a bit of a teaching position. But like I said, program directors as well. I've got to meet so many as I went along in my career in all different facets, from full-time to part-time, associate, just all of that. And I'm going to tell you something that I really notice about every single one of them I ever meet. They are so passionate about the profession of physical therapy. Very passionate about it. They love it. They really enjoy it. And they speak positive about it. They speak about how amazing it is, how they change people's lives. And I'm not just talking about, you're probably like, oh, you're probably just talking about those boomer ones that are just, oh, no, I meet some professors that are younger than I am in it, that are in their late 20s or 30s who happen to have got into teaching, and they are very passionate about it. Of course, I've met those ones who are in their 60s, who have done it for 40 years, who have seen so many changes through the years in physical therapy, and they talk about it, and they're still passionate about it, and they are excited about what is coming down the line. Well, probably a little worried at times as well. But I'll tell you, they're rarely ever against it, and they never want to be negative. Like I said, negative, and never set anyone up to fail. That makes no sense ever. And I've always thought that was kind of interesting. Like, do you purposely think, professors or anybody around in healthcare would have set you up to fail on it? Like especially professors. Do you think they set you up to fail? Really? Really? Do you really think they do that? Oh, we're just going to do this just for what? Craps and giggles? We're just going to do this to these students and just because I get to keep this teaching position, and we're just going to teach them that, and that just keeps me, here, and I just stay all nice and happy with my job. Really? Really? You think that's true? The other thing I think is very funny is this phrase. The other thing I want to talk about. They don't teach you this in school. I often enjoy that. I'll share you a little bit of something. I started reading business books way back in the early 2000s when I was early in my undergraduate career. friend of mine turned me on to a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if you've ever read it. If you have, cool. There's all different opinions about it. I think it's an interesting book to read. And I remember that there was a passage in there that talked about they don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you this in school. They teach you to be employees. And I'm going to be honest, this book was written, I believe, in the mid-90s or so. But I have read different business books and all these books over the years who were written in the 90s and the 80s. And they've echoed the same thing. They don't teach you this in school. They just teach you to be an employee. That's why that's the school system set up to teach you just to be an employee. That's all they teach you. They don't teach you all these other things in it. And what I've really found, and tell me if you see the same thing, that when people say that stuff, they don't teach you this in school and I'm going to teach you that it's somebody that's often selling something. They're selling a course. They're selling training to you to say, well, we don't teach you this in school, but I'll teach you the real thing. So, okay, so you're using this as a marketing tool to sell me on something else. Now, I will be honest. I completely understand school does not teach you everything. When I went into physical therapy school, I looked at it like that. They're not going to teach me everything. And I tell that to every student I meet, everyone that's about to go into PT school. Heck, I tell that to people, the high school kids going into college, that school like that is not there to teach you everything. And I do believe in every profession that school does not teach you everything. And the reason why is because in the real world, there is a ton of variability. Think about that, really, as in what we do. And a great example is this, because I work in orthopedics, is look back at your orthopedics class versus your patients. In your ortho class, when you're working with your classmates where you're all in your 20s, everyone's shoulders move really well. Their backs may have a little stiffness, but they move well. Their hips move great. Their knees. Nobody really has any problems, Also, nobody has any comorbidities, really. Maybe you got a few of them. But compare that to your patients that you see out there. Somebody who is very inactive, who's been inactive for 20 years and comes to you with back pain. Can they move easily on the table like your classmates did? Somebody that has a list of comorbidities on there that, and their shoulder is acting one way. But, I can't lay down because I have, this eye issue that I cannot lay in these positions or, something like that. Or any number of things that we know all affects pain because they're like, there's everything we do is multifactorial. Can you teach all of that in school? Can you sit there and go, okay, you're going to have a patient who comes in with shoulder pain. Here is all the 300,000 billion things that also it could be, and this is going to how you treat every one of them. No, you don't get that. You don't get that. But you know what school does? Hey, here are the basis of things in it. And look at it like that. Look at it to say, hey, you're teaching me the basics. I'm going to build upon that as I go. And that's how I've looked at with school. I said, yeah, school taught me a great number of things in it. They set me up, and it was upon me to build upon that as I have went on it. And when it comes to things about being an employee, that's also kind of a interesting thing. And I have run clinics all over the country in many different areas and different aspects and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you what, and my undergraduate degree is in business as well. So I understand it. There's a lot of variability with business as well. And the stuff that you do teach you in school, which again, I went to business school. We did teach, I did take an entrepreneurial class. There were aspects that we had to learn there. But as you get into the real world, again, there's a ton of variability. There's a ton of things in there. Stuff doesn't always act like that they would teach you in school. So I understand that. Look at that. School teaches you the basics of it. And again, if somebody's saying, oh, they're not teaching you the real world stuff. They don't teach you this in school. They're just setting you up. They're selling something. I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, you look at it, if you keep listening, they're trying to sell you something. And the last thing I'll talk about is the delusion. And this is probably the biggest thing. This is probably the overall biggest thing. And It's that those teachers, those professors, don't understand what is going on out here. They don't understand that when you start working, that you're going to have these high productivity demands, that you're going to come out, you're going to have this mass of student loan debt, that you're going to get rates cut all the time. I'm going to tell you what, the professors and the programs are very aware of all of those things. They are very aware. They understand that the cost of school is going up. It's not the PTA, it's not the PT or PTA programs that are setting the cost of their schooling. I do think that's a little bit of a delusional thing as well, that people believe that. It's the schools, it's the overall schools that are setting the cost of it. And these PT and PTA programs are recognizing to say, hey, the cost of school is going up. They're seeing that enrollment is dropping. They're seeing that enrollment is going down. And they're saying, hey, we have to do something to fix this on it, because we cannot have people coming out of here struggling to pay their bills and to work and to do these things. We understand that. We want to set our students up so that they can have a very healthy, productive life as they're going up. They do care. They understand about what's going on. They do. They're involved in the APTA, and that's another big conspiracy thing as well. I hear people say, like, oh, the APTA gets all these teachers involved in it. You know why most professors involved in the APTA? They can say, like, well, because the schools pay for it. Yeah, that's called your continuing education budget. Every company I've ever worked for allows me to, pay for an APTA membership with my continuing ed budget if I wanted to. So, yeah, that's really kind of stupid. And also, a lot of them volunteer who are professors, because to volunteer in any kind of capacity of leadership, whatever, takes a good bit of time. And often, don't the professors have a little bit more time than the rest of us? I can see that. I can see if you're working 40 hours a week, then you're having to come home to your family, and then I want to go do this stuff over here. I want to go do this stuff over here. You may not have time to dedicate to be a delegate, to be someone who is in a leadership position in your state or at a national level. So it's a time commitment on it. And yeah, the people that, again, they say, like, oh, the schools pay for it. Yeah, it comes out of like a continuing ed budget, which, like, most employers have. That's really always kind of felt like a dumb argument, but they are. But when they are involved in the APTA, it's because that they see, hey, there are these issues out there that are affecting the profession. I want to dedicate part of my time to help it so that these PTs and PTAs who are coming up behind me can have it better than when I was, to fight and to change it and to do these things. A lot of them do. And they're just like the regular ones out here. So with that being said, I want to hear your thoughts about it. What do you think about those in academia? Do you think, yeah, they're great, that they're helping move the profession forward, or no, they are not? Are you someone who works in academia? Are you someone who wants to get in academia? Let me know. Share all of your opinions about that. Have that discussion. I do so enjoy reading the comments and having discussions with people as well. So with that being said, take care of yourself and take care of your patients. I'll see you next time.